You bought a houseplant for $30, watered it religiously, gave it the perfect sunny spot, and 3 months later, it's drooped. You bought a houseplant for $30, watered it religiously, gave it the perfect sunny spot, and 3 months later, it's drooping in dry soil that's either too wet or somehow too dry at the same time. And nobody told you there's an entire category of plants that skip this problem completely because they don't need soil at all. They grow in nothing but water, and 7 of these plants will thrive on your kitchen counter or bathroom shelf for years, with almost zero effort, while the expensive fiddle leaf fig you bought last spring is turning brown in the corner. This works because certain plants have evolved root systems that can extract oxygen directly from water instead of requiring the air pockets in soil. And once you understand which plants have this ability, you can grow a collection of greenery that never needs repotting, rarely needs fertilizing, and can't suffer from overwatering or underwatering because the roots are always submerged in the exact amount of water they need. Plant number 1 is pothos. Walk into any plant shop and you'll see pothos vines trailing from hanging baskets. And what most people don't realize is that you can cut a 6-inch stem from any pothos plant, stick it in a glass of water, and within 2 weeks, you'll see white roots spreading through the liquid. The plant doesn't care that there's no soil. It just grows. And unlike most houseplants that require careful watering schedules, pothos in water needs only one thing. Keep the water level consistent and change it every 2 weeks to prevent algae buildup. That's it. No drainage holes. No moisture meters. The plant sits in a clear vase on your desk, and you watch the roots grow like an aquarium for plants. Here's what makes pothos perfect for water growing. The roots develop a slightly different structure when grown in water versus soil. They become smoother, more adapted to extracting nutrients from liquid. And once a pothos cutting has grown water roots, you can keep it in water indefinitely. It won't ever demand to be planted in soil. I've seen pothos vines grow 6 feet long in nothing but a tall glass cylinder, the roots filling the bottom half like white spaghetti while the vines climb a nearby bookshelf. Plant number 2 is lucky bamboo, except it's not actually bamboo at all. It's a tropical water lily called Dracaena sanderiana that happens to look like bamboo stalks. And this plant has been grown in water for centuries in Asian households because it's nearly impossible to kill. You place the stalks in a container with 2 to 3 inches of water, set it anywhere that gets indirect light, and the plant just exists. It doesn't grow fast. It doesn't demand attention. The stalks stay green and the roots stay healthy as long as you top off the water when it evaporates. The trick with lucky bamboo is water quality. Tap water in many cities contains chlorine and fluoride, and lucky bamboo is sensitive to both. So you either let tap water sit out for 24 hours before adding it, which allows the chlorine to evaporate, or you use filtered water. That's the only maintenance requirement. No fertilizer needed for the first 6 months. Just clean water and patience. Plant number 3 changes everything you thought about growing food indoors. Green onions. You buy a bunch at the grocery store, use the green tops for cooking, and instead of throwing away the white bulbs with the roots attached, you place them in a shallow dish of water on your windowsill. Within 3 days, new green shoots push up from the center. Within a week, you're harvesting fresh green onions again, and the bulbs will keep producing new growth for months, as long as you change the water every few days and keep the roots submerged. This works because onions are designed to regrow from their root systems. That's how they survive in nature. And what you're doing is exploiting this natural regeneration cycle to create an endless supply of green onions from a single grocery store purchase. I've harvested the same 4 white bulbs for 8 months straight. 8 months. And they're still pushing out green shoots every week like nothing has changed. Plant number 4 is the spider plant. And this one surprised me because I always assumed spider plants needed soil to thrive. They don't. You can propagate spider plants by cutting off the baby plantlets that dangle from the mother plant on long stems. These babies come with tiny root nubs already formed. Drop them in a jar of water and those roots explode into growth within days. The spider plant develops thick white roots that look almost succulent, and the plantlets grow into full-sized plants while sitting in nothing but water. I have 3 spider plants in glass jars on a shelf, and they've been there for over a year. No soil, no replanting. They just grow. The only trick is making sure the base of the plant stays above the water line. If the leaves sit in water, they'll rot. So you want a container with a narrow neck that holds the plant suspended while the roots dangle into the water below. Plant 5 is philodendron, which is essentially pothos's cousin. Same family, same indestructible nature, same ability to thrive in water indefinitely. You cut a stem section with at least 2 leaves attached, place it in water, and wait. Roots appear within 10 days. And philodendrons grown in water develop these incredible cascading root systems that fill whatever container you put them in. I've seen philodendron roots so dense they looked like white coral formations in a fish tank. And the plant keeps growing vines that you can train up a wall or let hang down from a high shelf. 0 soil required. Plant 6 brings us to herbs, specifically mint. Mint is aggressive. In soil, it spreads through underground runners and takes over entire garden beds if you don't contain it. But in water, that aggression becomes an advantage. You cut a 4-inch stem from any mint plant, strip off the bottom leaves, and place it in water. Within a week, roots form. Within 2 weeks, you can start harvesting mint leaves for tea or cooking. And the plant keeps producing new growth as long as you keep the water fresh. I've kept mint cuttings alive in water for 6 months, harvesting leaves twice a week, and the stems just keep pushing out new growth from the top while the roots expand below. Plant 7 is the Moses in the cradle plant, also called oyster plant. This one has thick purple and green striped leaves that grow in a rosette pattern, and it looks like something from a tropical jungle. You can grow it in water by taking a cutting, or even by removing a plantlet from the base of a mature plant. The roots develop quickly, and the plant sits there looking architectural and dramatic in a clear vase while requiring almost 0 care. Just water changes every 2 weeks. What you're seeing here is a pattern. These 7 plants all share one characteristic that makes them perfect for water growing. They're adaptable. Their root systems can shift from extracting nutrients from soil to extracting nutrients from water without shock or stress. And once they make that shift, they don't go back. You're not creating temporary arrangements that need to be planted later. You're establishing permanent water growing systems that will outlast most soil-based houseplants because they eliminate the #1 reason houseplants die: overwatering or underwatering. Those problems don't exist when the plant is literally sitting in water and you can see exactly how much is there. If you are anything like me, you have tried countless times growing plants indoors over many years with little success. Too much water, not enough water, wrong drainage, compacted soil. But these 7 water-grown plants stay alive for over a year with less effort than it takes to remember to check the mail. Pothos, lucky bamboo, green onions, spider plant, philodendron, mint, and Moses in the cradle. No pots, no soil. No guessing. Just water in a clear container and a plant that grows. And the reason this works isn't magic, it's biology. These plants evolved root systems that can pull oxygen from water, and once you give them that environment, they thrive without the complications that kill 90% of houseplants. You can start this today with a single pothos cutting from a friend's plant, or a bunch of green onions from the grocery store. Cut it, place it in water, wait. Within 2 weeks, you'll see roots. And within a month, you'll have a plant that requires less maintenance than a pet rock. No expensive pots, no specialty soil, no drainage trays collecting water on your furniture. Just a glass container, tap water, and a plant that finally doesn't punish you for caring too much or too little.